She was clearly extremely ugly. Yet she married the emperor's most favored eldest prince. Because her eldest sister saw that the eldest prince had crippled legs and lost his position as crown prince. So she came up with the idea of having her younger sister marry in her place to avoid the political marriage. But that was not the end. The vicious sister then twisted the truth in front of everyone. She claimed that the girl threatened suicide to steal a marriage that should have been hers. She even tried to make her lift the bridal veil to humiliate the prince. But when facing her sister's provocation, the woman remained completely calm. Then she lifted the veil in front of everyone. A breathtakingly beautiful face was revealed to all. It turned out the woman had been reborn. In her previous life, she was blind and foolish and fell madly in love with the second prince. But it was not until the day she gave birth that she learned the truth. Her eldest sister had long been secretly involved with the second prince. She was nothing more than a pawn used to deal with the eldest prince. Even the child's father was just a random man the second prince found at Tianxian Pavilion. The two of them then personally sent her to her death. Perhaps because of her resentment, heaven actually sent her back to the day she was drugged by her sister and stuffed into the wedding sedan. In this life, she not only wanted to protect the child in her womb, but also make the second prince and her eldest sister pay the price. So she took the Baitsue pill meant for the second prince to remove the birthmark on her face, because she knew that only by marrying the prince could she protect herself. But the prince did not care who he was marrying. To him, it was just a marriage arranged by his father. He promised the woman that as long as she drank the ceremonial wine, he would give her the dignity due to a princess consort. But the woman told the prince that she was already pregnant and could not drink. The prince was instantly enraged. He tightly grabbed her by the neck, ready to execute her on the spot. But the woman did not beg for mercy. Instead, she openly exposed the prince's deepest wound. She said that with his great military achievements, he should have been the crown prince. Yet he was framed by the second prince, crippled in both legs, and lost the right to compete for favor. But in the prince's eyes, she was just a woman toyed with by the second prince. What right did she have to speak about him? After saying that, the woman pulled out a silver needle from her sleeve and pierced the prince's thigh. She said she was confident she could help him recover in a short time. The condition was that he agreed to become her ally. But while she was applying the needle, the prince smelled a familiar fragrance. It was exactly the same scent as the woman he met at Tianxian Pavilion a month ago. He suddenly pulled her into his arms. But the scent instantly disappeared again. In the moment he was distracted, he suddenly felt a warm sensation spreading through his legs. He tried to stand up, but ultimately failed. After hearing this, the prince agreed to come for acupuncture at the same time every day. As long as his legs could be cured, he would not only agree to the alliance, but also give the child in her womb a legitimate status. In the blink of an eye, the next day arrived. The prince took her to the palace to attend a banquet. But as soon as they reached the palace gates, they ran into the second prince and her eldest sister. The arriving prince immediately charged him with the crime of disrespecting a superior. He was forced to kowtow 30 times to apologize to the princess consort. He even made the second prince personally oversee it. After handling this matter, the prince took the princess consort to the imperial garden. They happened to meet eunuch De, who carried a verbal decree from the emperor. The emperor ordered the prince to go to the imperial study to discuss important matters, and told him to have the princess consort attend the banquet in the imperial garden. But only the woman understood that eunuch De had already been bribed by the second prince. He wanted to use her to get rid of consort Yun's unborn child. This would then implicate the prince and bring punishment from the emperor. Unfortunately for them, she would not let the tragedy happen again in this life. So when eunuch De tried to push her, she sidestepped and avoided it. But she did not expect the second prince to have another backup plan. He had also bribed the nanny by consort Yun's side. And so the tragedy still happened. Even the imperial physicians were helpless and said the child would be hard to save. The nanny twisted the truth and claimed the princess consort pushed consort Yun. The emperor was instantly furious. He was about to have both the prince and princess consort thrown into the imperial prison. At the critical moment, the princess consort stepped forward. She said she was confident she could save consort Yun's unborn child. The prince even drew his sword and stood in front of everyone. Only then did they gain a chance for the princess consort to treat consort Yun. With 2 needles applied, not only was the unborn child saved, but consort Yun also woke up. Then the princess consort directly held out her hands. She said she had picked up pollen while walking through the imperial garden. If she had pushed consort Yun, there would definitely be traces on the other woman's clothes. After examination, the imperial physicians found no such marks. Everyone immediately turned their eyes to the nanny who was closest to consort Yun. Seeing that the nanny refused to confess, the emperor ordered severe punishment. Only then did the nanny confess that the mastermind was eunuch De. The emperor immediately ordered them to be dragged to the court of punishments for interrogation. As for the princess consort, she was rewarded 2,000 taels of gold for saving a consort. The prince was sentenced to 30 lashes in front of the emperor. Seeing the prince punished because of her, the woman felt a wave of guilt in her heart. In her previous life, she had worked for the second prince and caused the prince's death. In this life, he offended the emperor again because of her. She feared she would never be able to repay it in this lifetime. At that moment, the second prince came to her side. He said that as long as she helped him bring down the prince, he would promise to make her a secondary consort in the future. If she refused, he would expose the scandal at Tianxian Pavilion to the public. But they did not expect that the prince overheard their entire conversation.